Here I am in front of Tal Academy in Queens, New York, and I am so excited to take a tour of this unbelievable school, which is doing things that have never been done before in our Jewish Frum community. And in this school, we are going to meet professionals, we're going to meet people who care about the education of each and every kid above all else. And mostly, I'm excited to meet the incredible kids behind Tal Academy, because after all, you could have the most incredible institution, but without the kids, you ain't got no school. Here we go. Let's go meet the kids of Tal Academy. Now that I'm buzzed in, I'm gonna go down these steps and find out where the magic happens.
Welcome to our school. This is the office. This is where Mrs. Toplin, our secretary, and Rabbi Dax's office. Mrs. Toplin and Miss Walkfeld are always there to help us with whatever we need, like supplies or ice.
This is the counseling room, and she's here to help us with whatever it's hard for us. This is a good place for us to express our feelings.
This is the Tal 4 girls classroom. We're both in this class.
This is Tal 3's girl classroom. Everybody loves to learn at Tal Academy.
This is Tal 5's classroom. He's learning a really hard page of Gemara. It used to be really hard for him, but now it's getting easier. Keep it up. This is Tal 1, my classroom. Let's go inside. We learned so many interesting things here. These are my friends. Keep learning, boys.
Thanks, Naya.
Let's go to the library. This is where we exchange books, and in here we had a book swap last week.
Hello. They don't look like they're reading books, though. What are they doing in here?
Sometimes we do math in the library. If reading's hard for some people, here it's easier. This is one of my favorite. My classroom is Tal 2. Today we're learning about multiplication.
This is Mrs. Osofsky's office. She's our assistant principal. This is the language room, how we learn to think, speak, read, and write.
This is the lunchroom where we eat and talk with our friends.
This is the Kriya Center where we work on our skills, on our Kriya skills with Mrs. Karsha and her team.
Today I'm reading some big words.
Come on, read us something.
Sha, chaf, ti, ush, ma, hir, chav, ta.
Whoa, keep it up.
This is the O2 room and sensory gym, and this is where we reset and regulate our body. We do obstacles, we jump, and we do exercises. We also learn to read and write here. This is Mrs. Milcom.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the OT room. Well, the first thing is when the girls and boys come into this room, they have to say, "I can do it." It says it on the door. Okay, we do a lot of bilateral integration exercises, working on our right side and our left side. We do a lot of visual tracking exercises, all exercises that help us become better readers and writers.
Thank you so much. It helps me so much.
This is the office of my principal, Ms. Taib. I hope I'm not disturbing. I'm Mrs. Taib. I'm in the middle of giving a tour of the school. Do you want to say something?
I want to say welcome to Morah Tziri and the InKredible Kids, and thank you so much for coming to visit Tal Academy today.
Thank you so much for everything you do for us.
You're welcome.
This is the teacher's room where teachers have breaks and talk. I don't think I'm supposed to go in here. Let's give teachers their privacy.
Welcome to the playground where we play. Some of my best memories are made here.
Everybody loves recess.
Oh my gosh, you're not kidding. Tal Academy is definitely inspiring me to be more of a kid. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm having fun anyways.
Let's go back inside, but I don't want to. Morah Tziri, here's a mic back so you could go interview more kids.
I think I will. I believe everything you showed me, and I think everything you said is true, but I'd like to even see more of the incredibleness that happens in this place. Thanks for your tour, guys. You were all incredible. What's different about Tal Academy than other schools?
The teachers know how to teach me in ways that I know how to learn.
Every kid learns differently, right? What grade were you when you came here?
4th. When I was in at the school year, it just started dragging. When I was in last year, I felt like 2 months.
Because time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, and I guess on my other school, I wasn't having fun. I wasn't learning properly.
Right. What's your favorite part of the day at Tal Academy?
Learning Gemara with my Rebbe, because the Gemara is interesting and it explains a lot of things that other people don't know what you're supposed to do. Rat's got a fruit. You have 2 opinions. You can keep it or you can't keep it. Mm-hmm. And we did a video about it, a Gemara.
You created a video?
Yeah, we created a video ourselves.
Wow.
And we had a tablecloth on the floor and we just started dropping fruit out of a bag. So you act out what the Mishnah says.
You got into that. You know what else I noticed in your school? That there's like pictures on the wall of...
kids took.
That kids took.
Some of the pictures.
I saw some cute ones. And then someone said, oh, the kids took those pictures.
I took one of the pictures on the wall. There's a wall over there.
Yeah.
I took one of the pictures for the Tal Times. Yeah.
What's that?
It's like a newspaper.
That's so cool. It's something, the kids write the articles?
No, the staff writes it.
Mm-hmm.
Or the faculty, I don't know the difference.
It's the same thing, I'm pretty sure, unless somebody wants to look it up in the dictionary. But, a lot of times kids are focused on what they cannot do, which is very unfortunate and sad. But in this school, I feel like people are very aware
of what they can't do, but no, they could do.
Thank you. You. It's so ingrained in you, it seems, that you were able to complete my sentence. What can you do? What's one thing you can do?
I can't do that I couldn't do before?
I don't know.
I just can do.
Whatever you want to answer, because I didn't know you before. What can you do?
I could do a lot of things. I could ride a bike. Most normal kids could.
I don't think that's a given, by the way, but continue. Okay, what else can you do?
I have a first aid kit in my bag and I know how to use it. I have a circuit board and I know how to use it.
A who?
A circuit board.
Okay, not even sure what that is. So if you know what it is and you know how to use it, you are 2 steps ahead of me.
The board, basically, electricians, it's basically like that, but for younger kids.
Sounds dangerous, be careful.
It's not, you can't get shocked.
Okay, good news. Menachem, you have come a long way. From what I hear, you are a very hardworking boy, and what used to be hard for you, you're working really, 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 really hard on here at Tal Academy. What's something that you hope you're still gonna be able to accomplish in coming months?
I think I'm gonna confident reading a lot easier, and I could also translate Chumash a lot easier than my old school, and it's way easier for me to translate it now.
Wow, and what do you hope that you still get to learn?
I hope I get to still learn reading.
Thank you, nice meeting you.
Thank you, Menachem. Thank you so much.
You're awesome. What makes Tal different than other schools?
Something that probably makes Tal different is that I'm probably learning more Hebrew, like Navi and Chumash, and I'm davening better. I was in not such a frum school. I was like the only kid that really was Shomer Shabbos and wore skirts, and I didn't really learn like more of the Hebrew. I only learned like reading and writing and social studies. I mean, we did learn a little Hebrew, but not as much as here.
So that was a school that was designed to help kids who struggle with reading as well, except that you weren't getting the from the Judaism aspect out of it at all. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you have this real appreciation for what's going on in this school. That's awesome.
My favorite part of the school day is probably social studies, because I really like my teacher, and she's very funny, and she makes everything like just fun.
What is something that you have become better at since you got here?
Probably in writing in Hebrew and davening. I can daven by myself now. I didn't really know how to daven back in my old school. I can daven with no teacher. I don't need help, and it's just something that I'm very happy that I improved in doing.
Wow. that's an answer that is very meaningful on many levels, because it shows that you're the whole time you were yearning to be able to read the words from a sitter, right? And now that you can read it, you feel like you own it and you can connect more. Hadassah, what's something that you love about Tal Academy? What makes it different than other schools?
That they teach it differently. They do fun activities. You get prizes for stuff that you do correctly and achieve correctly. And I was able to read a hard pasuk. I was practicing for a very long time, and I got it, and I got the prize, and I was very happy. I finished a pasuk.
Wonderful. And who recognized that success?
My teacher.
Beautiful.
Me.
You know, you just answered that question in a way that I didn't see coming. I said, who recognized the success? And I was really asking, in my mind, I was asking, who recognized it? Who was the one that said, wonderful job, here's a sticker, here's a thing. But you are much wiser than me, because when I asked the question, I wasn't expecting you to say me. I recognized it. And that is the thing that is the most important of success, and no one else has to notice it. It's the only success that really feels good is when you notice it yourself, not because someone else said good job. It's because I know I did a good job, and I wish I could have been there at that moment to see I'm sure whatever smile you're giving me now was a million times more.
How long were you working on that project?
Yeah. How long did it take you to work on that?
A week, and I couldn't ever get it, and then I'm I need to get it, so I practiced it slowly, and then I got it.
Wow. Okay. And here they bring your classroom everything it needs, right?
Yeah.
So
they break
you
up
have
the whole class.
right. Everybody's breaking up to do different activities, different centers, different things that are unique to that person, but it's within your classroom. You ain't missing nothing, right?
Yeah.
It's all coming to you. And that's what every kid deserves. Actually, I was watching your school video. I don't know if you ever watched it. Maybe you'll find it boring, but I actually found it interesting. And one thing that somebody said was a kid's job is to be in school. That's what kids do. That's kids' work. They come to school every day. And if an adult goes to a job and they're feeling not appreciated, not happy, not successful, what does an adult do? They can get a new job.
Yeah, but if they don't want to, they could just go to sleep all day.
Well, that too, but if you need to work, and we understand that it's good for people to work, right? So if an adult is not happy in their job and they're not feeling appreciated and they're not feeling understood and they try and they feel like a failure, they're like, peace out, I'm going to get a new job. But for a kid who's in a classroom for 8 hours a day and they're in school and for whatever reason it's just not working for them and it's not working and it's like they're hitting their head against the wall, they don't have that option, right? So here, it's like you're in a place where your eyes are bright and your smile's big and you're learning and you're feeling successful and your school's recognizing your success. I can't imagine a better place to be.
I appreciate my school for helping me be able to achieve my goals I need to work on in life.
What makes Tal Academy unique? What's different about it than other schools?
It's smaller and there's more activities than other schools.
Tell me about those activities.
Hockey, game day, stuff like that.
What happens on game day?
There's a teacher and he watches us while we do games and stuff like that.
Like Connect Four?
Connect Four, hockey, not hockey was sick, air hockey, and we're planting potatoes.
Oh, tell me more.
We're planting them because we wanna know what's gonna happen if a plant needs soil, water, and stuff like that. So let's say what we're doing, we're making one that has all of them, one that has all of them except one that has all of them except that.
It's
not
an experiment.
Yeah, we're testing what would happen.
Oh, okay.
And
so
each
you
of
have
us-
a hypothesis about it? What's your hypothesis?
What do you mean? What?
What are you testing here? You're testing what would happen
What would happen if we don't put water in the plant? What would happen? Will it grow? Will it grow? It's not going to be edible.
What do you think might happen?
Yeah. So we wrote down what we think will happen.
Predictions.
And then we predict what would happen. And at the end of the year, we're gonna see what happened and who's right.
Love that. Science is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should I tell you about something else?
Yeah.
So last year, I was watching. I was at camp, and I realized that every week they would do a video. So the first year I went here, I talked to my principal about doing the same thing. How we take pictures and we ran and stuff like that. So she agreed to that. So every Tuesday we would meet up with Morah, and we would go through all the pictures that we took, the whole school took, and we would put like this picture goes in there, this picture goes in there, and then at like the end of the week or the end of the month, we would show it with school.
That's awesome. So you just went, Mrs. Taib, you went to with your idea? So you went to your principal, Mrs. Taib, and you said to her what?
With that,
did you knock on her door? Like, how did you?
Yeah, we knocked on the door and it was like, come back in 2 minutes. I came back in 2 minutes.
Hate when that happens, but yeah. Came back in 2 minutes. What happened next?
So I went there and I discussed with them how like at camp they would do it, and I wanted to.
You discussed with her like, this is what happens at camp. Let's bring it to Tal Academy.
Yeah.
Wow, and she took your idea seriously, it seems.
And we met up me and a different Morah met up with a few other kids, and
You had a meeting?
We had a meeting about it. We started doing it, and like the whole school everyone had a day that they would use the camera.
Oh.
And everyone had a day everybody had a time that they would use the camera to take pictures. So
Of the things that you did in school that week.
Yeah. So let's say I had Tuesday. Then Tuesday I would take pictures. Let's say a different class, also a different person in a different class, also had a Tuesday. They would do Tuesday with me. They would do their class and Tuesday. So like it would work with that, and on like Friday, we would meet up and do stuff.
Wow, and every week you put out a video.
Yeah. No, not every week, every month.
And every month you put out a video.
Yeah.
If you could say one message to kids who are struggling with reading or with something in school that has to do with maybe math or spelling or something like that, and it's really hard for them, and they don't really talk about the struggle so much, what do you want to say to them?
Do not give up, even if it seems very hard. Just don't give up. Try one more try. If you get it wrong, ask for another chance.
Can we see your project?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go see your project.
Come see my project. Here.
Whoa. What's that?
It's an elephant nose.
Oh, so this is you
Yeah.
with an elephant nose.
Yeah, you're really creative. That's really nice.
Why did you choose to make yourself with an elephant nose?
I just saw it was cool, and I'm like, how about I do this? So
What can you tell us about elephants?
They have a long nose,
Very
which
nice.
is called a trunk.
Trying to see if it's resembling. Hard to imagine you with an elephant nose. I think I like you like this better. Rabbi Dax is the executive director. Is that the title?
Director, yeah.
Okay. That Rabbi Dax is the executive director of Tal Academy, and this is the vice president of Tal Academy, and this is the custodian, and this
Treasurer.
is no. So we're here with some senior members of the student body of Tal Academy. And I always say a school is a school because they have an excellent team behind it. And that's very nice, but you cannot have a functional school without the students. And so your school means absolutely nothing if there are no people attending, children who are being inspired. I want you guys to give us honesty is very important. Of course, we're gonna be respectful if your executive director is in our midst, and we only want our school to have a positive reputation. But I want you guys to tell me honestly how you feel about what Tal Academy has done for you and for all of the kids here. Also, you can look straight at the camera and share what you learned as a kid who has been, through different struggles, right? Nod your head if you've ever struggled. I'll nod. What that means to kids who are struggling, that sometimes they don't even know what their struggle's about. They don't even understand it yet.
I was once talking to a guy who had real problems reading, and like a lot of kids in this school, and they didn't realize it until he was older. He was a very smart guy. He graduated as the valedictorian of his class in high school, but in high school he used to have a lot of anger issues, and he used to fight with kids, and nobody could understand it. And really the reason why was because it was such a frustrating experience for him in school with all the struggles that people didn't realize, because he was so smart, and it came out in this crazy way where he was fighting with people and getting in. And then when he was a little older in 10th, 11th grade, they realized it, and he was able to address them.
It's my first year here
here, and I've been to a couple other schools, and this is the best one by far. Through all my other experiences, this was for sure the best. I've been to so many other schools. I find this one helps with everything that is necessary and everything to help me. I went to something called, me and Momo actually went to a school. It was like the public school. It was called the Reading Academy. Mm-hmm. And me and Momo went there. I was there for 2 years. Momo was there for 1 year. Mm-hmm. It was helpful, but then I came to Tal, and it was it was better in every way.
I was in a different school, and when I went there, in first grade, I had a Rebbe who tried to help me, but didn't end up work out. And then in second grade, they started to realize that I had dyslexia. So like towards the end of the year, the Rebbe was more trying to help me. And then in third grade, which was my last year in my other school, until I came here, that Rebbe really helped me because that year they figured out that I had dyslexia, and they knew that in fourth grade I would be going to Tal. Now that I'm here, I am happy. Now I could read somewhat, comprehend somewhat, and do math, do ELA, Morah Tziri, mostly everything part of my day.
I went to a different school also, and in first grade they just had me, and it was hard. And then second grade, I was going out some of the time. Third grade, I went to the public school Reading Academy, and then I came to Tal, and it was a lot easier for me. It's easier for me to read now and write.
Do you enjoy reading?
Not that much.
And that's okay, right?
If you remember, what was it like going to school every day? Like, how'd you feel when you went into school when you weren't in Tal Academy, like versus how you feel now?
That's a good question.
I remember this person I was telling you about, when they went to school, it was miserable. It was the last place they wanted to go. They would get stomach cramps, they'd get issues, and they just wouldn't want to go. And then
a lot of times when people are nervous, it's coming from because they're nervous about how they're going to perform. They're going to feel about themselves as people. Did you guys experience like what Rabbi Dax is saying? You know, like when you were in your old school, try to remember what it was like a couple years back, or for you, maybe it was more recent, but when you clearly weren't understood, people didn't understand you, you couldn't understand yourself. How did that feel?
What I would be doing in class is just sitting quiet. Very bored.
And how did you feel before school in the morning? Were you like sluggish? Did you want to pretend you were sick? By the way, not even pretending. Sometimes you could actually be sick from those feelings.
Sometimes though, not every time.
I think that I felt like I just wanted to stay home and not go to school at all because nobody understood what I had, and I didn't understand what I had either.
I was trying to get out of school. I was sick a lot of the time, but it wasn't faking, it was real because you were nervous and you didn't know what you were going into. I would go in the car, my father would drive me, and I had it planned out, okay? I wouldn't be able to leave the car. I would stay in the car. He would open up my door. I would run to the back seat, and I would run back and forth, and then he got the principal, and it was a horrible experience.
The name of this school is Tal Academy, and I learned here so far that the school is Tal's Torah and language. So those are like the, foundations of the school. Absolutely. What is your role here?
So I am Mrs. Osofsky. I am the assistant principal, but my background is as a language pathologist.
Mm-hmm. What does that actually mean?
So you would probably know it as a speech therapist, but it's really speech and language therapy. And at Tal, our focus is 100% on the language aspect. So what we do here is that in most schools, children are pulled out for speech and language therapy from their classrooms, and they work on isolated skills. So a therapist might take a student and work on their reading comprehension, but one-on-one or in a group of 2 or 3 students. And then
I think a lot of kids know about that. Like a speech therapist comes and takes you out of class, or you go meet them after school or something.
Right, and there they also might work on their articulation, they might work on stuttering, they might work on their voice. Here, our focus is not so much on the speech aspect, the articulation, or anyone that might have a stutter. We focus entirely on the language piece. And instead of pulling students out of the classroom, our language team goes into the classroom. They work with the students, but also the teachers and Rebbeim, so both in the general studies curriculum and the Judaic studies, to incorporate language across the entire day. All our classes are infused with language skills and language strategies.
So that no matter what the subject is, it could be Chumash or it could be math or social studies.
Exactly.
You're teaching it in a way that these kids need.
That our kids can access the information, gain the skills that they need, and learn all the strategies to apply it to other subjects.
So I was doing a little snooping, and I was in your teacher's room eating lunch there, and I was overhearing a conversation between two people, and someone pointed out to me that one of these women is a speech and language pathologist, like you just taught me, like a therapist, and the other one is a Morah, a teacher, and they were talking about the Purim story, because Purim is coming soon. So she said, this is how you can teach the Purim story. And she wasn't telling her what to do, but she was explaining that when, as a teacher, before you even think about how you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna make sure that your plans include these things, so that you're, and she was giving an example about, and I was really listening, because I find it so interesting, because I taught the Purim story many times, but how many times did I think about when I was teaching it as a teacher? Of course, and everyone makes mistakes, so I don't think I did anything wrong. But what if there was a student who was listening and they were like, I don't know what that word means that you're saying. Like, for this, one of your therapists was saying, like, when you're teaching them about, let's say, when they pick the raffle, the lottery. When a kid hears lottery, they're thinking, oh, I know, my grandfather buys lottery tickets. Okay, so he's gonna win $1 million. Okay, very nice. What does that have to do with the month to kill the Jews? Like, that makes no sense. So you would you would teach them, this is a lottery, it's like a raffle, it's this, it's that. Let's do a lottery, let's do a raffle. Now when you hear the story and I use new words, it will make and that's just one little example, but I find that so unbelievable. I love seeing that in action.
So that's actually infused across the entire day. So we have one class was doing a person of interest project. So each student picked a famous person. We have students that picked Sarah Schneerer. We have a student that picked Dr. Seuss. We have a student Yes, really, like we're really across the whole spectrum here.
It's hilarious.
Student picked Sally Ride. There were a bunch, and the teacher wanted all the students to do research. So we set it up with each student had a language pathologist to work with, or a language pathologist would work with multiple students, and they broke down how to do research. Where would you find the information? And now we have the information. How do we organize this information to get it into a cohesive report? Because otherwise, the information, there's so much of it, and how can the students condense it to make sense for them?
Wow, that's amazing. This is so cool. Thank you for sharing with us.
Of course. Thanks for coming.
Amazing. What impresses me so much about Tal Academy is the way the children feel talking about their school. They clearly have a lot of pride. Like they're so content here. And what you've all built, I know you have, you're the principal, and what you've built here, and it's just 2 years. It's really, really amazing. I guess, tell me a little bit about what the dream was in building a school like this.
Sure. So the reason we opened Tal Academy is because there were kids that were getting lost in our system, great kids, and not because the schools weren't trying, but kids who needed more than they were able to get in their in their neighborhood schools.
Right.
They were going out for reading instruction, then they were going out for OT, then they were going out for speech, and they had such a disconnected program, and they also weren't progressing. And we knew that these are kids that if we teach them in the way that they could learn, they could really, really be successful. And once we opened up, we were even surprised within a few weeks when we started to see the pace at which our kids were really starting to see success. And we understood that when we created a program that was solely devoted to giving them exactly what they needed, with other great kids like that, they could really be successful. What was beautiful is that all of them struggled beforehand, and it took a few weeks for them to start to see, wait, I could do this. I could be successful. I could really do this. And that's once you start to see a kid start to stand a little taller, feel a little more confident, that's our nachas.
Can you, I know that a lot of kids here have different, like we said, language issues, like the L in Tal Academy is for language, and dyslexia I know is definitely a big one. Can you explain just, I guess, in the easiest way, what dyslexia is?
Sure. Dyslexia is a reading disability that's not connected to intelligence at all. And it actually has to do with, we call it decoding, breaking the code of reading, being able to really...
Oh, I never thought of that. Like, I know the word decoding, but I never thought of it as breaking the code, because reading is really a code that you have to understand.
It is, and a lot of kids will understand that naturally, Some will need some instruction, and kids like ours need what we call direct instruction. They need to learn every rule of the English language. In fact, when they finish here, they're going to know a lot of rules of the English language that others don't know.
Correct.
Because they're just reading those words naturally. But they learn those rules, and then they get to use those rules automatically, and then they become. And then once they're readers, they're back on track with with the other kids.
Wow. Would you mind looking at the camera and giving a message to parents who, just to best help a child who's going through a struggle with language-based issues?
Sure. I would say the first step is to get a good evaluation, a really, really good evaluation. We require a neuropsychological evaluation here so that you really get to the bottom of what each child, we use a phrase language-based learning disabilities, but each child as an individual is unique and has their own profile, so that you'll really come to understand your child, and then the professionals who could work with you then could guide you on what might be the best path. Would it be staying in a regular education school but getting a top-notch reading specialist, or does your child need a bit more, and a school like Tal might be an appropriate placement for a few years to have a really intensive language-based program. But that, I would say, is the first step, is to get a really good evaluation so that you understand what your child's needs are.
Wow, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for spending
it was
your
so
day
nice.
with
It was
us.
so lovely. It's like some people go to Disneyland. This is my Disneyland. Hashem should bless you with tremendous success and just continue to give these kids everything they need. Today was a very special day for me. I really, really, really had a great time at Tal Academy. I'm very sad to leave, honestly, to be in a place where it's so obvious that everybody there is excited to be there. School is supposed to be a place where kids love to come and love to thrive and grow. To hear from kids who felt like they were just never going to make it in school, and to see where they are now, it's just really important for us to all remember that if we try hard enough, we can succeed, we can learn in new ways. Those are all ideas that I can never say enough, I can never get enough of. Thank you everybody who's watching. Thank you to Tal Academy, and I am blown away by what you have done. And in just a second year of a school, to be able to produce such a beautiful thing, I know Hashem is smiling down on this incredible institution. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time.